All wings report in. Austin standing by.
Mike, standing by.
Austin, standing by.
The Rogue 3 podcast is locked on target. Whether it's movies, shows, books, comics, or more, we're going to be coming to you from a galaxy far, far away to celebrate all things Star Wars.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Rogue 3 podcast. As a different intro today, I'm going to be actually introducing us because today we are going to be talking about Austin and Austin's trip to Galaxy's Edge. They just went a couple weeks ago, and they're going to be filling us in on all of the experience they had, the merchandise, the snacks, the rides, all of the different things that they experienced while they were at Galaxy's Edge. So hopefully you listen in and have some fun listening to their experience at Galaxy's Edge. And maybe one day, if you haven't gone, you'll want to go after you hear all the fun that they had there. I have actually never been to Galaxy's Edge myself, and I am looking forward to hearing about all of their experience at Galaxy's Edge, what they saw, what they did. And I know we plan to all try and go together at one point. So let's hear what is Galaxy's Edge to you guys, and what was your trip like?
So this was, let's see, probably my 10th or 11th trip to Galaxy's Edge. I go frequently. I'm an annual pass holder at Disney World, so I've been many times, but I love it. It's like one of my favorite things to do there. And we got to do some special new things this time, so it was have some new experiences. This was a pretty rushed trip. We were there for a very limited amount of time, and so in one day we did Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Epcot. So Galaxy's Edge was like a 2-hour chunk in the middle of the day, but it was definitely one of my more memorable experiences.
But the entire time we spent at Hollywood Studios was devoted to Galaxy's Edge, of course.
The entire time.
Of course.
Walking to and from there.
So Galaxy's Edge is just one small part of Hollywood Studios, which is then one small part of the whole Disney World experience,
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So, Austin, how many times have you been to Disney World? How many times have you done the Galaxy's Edge part?
So I've been to Disney World 3 times. Once when I was just but a wee lad of 8. And then twice this year. Both times with Austin. We went earlier in January, and that's when I got to experience Galaxy's Edge for the first time. We have some lovely video footage of that emotional moment. And then once again, a couple weeks ago, which was just as special. It really is an incredibly immersive land, and it makes you feel like you're part of Star Wars. You forget that you're in Disney World when you're there. They do one thing that I think we're going to hit on about Disney in general, but especially Galaxy's Edge, is they really drive an experience. You don't know where you are. They really know how to make it interactive, and they know how to make it immersive. And so I'm really glad that Disney is the one who got the theme park rights to Star Wars, because any other park that did it, I just don't think it would have been done nearly as well.
My theme park experience is fairly limited, and the only comparison that I can have in my mind, and I really don't know, is the Harry Potter experience down there. I've been to that before, and having butter beer and stuff like that, but I'm not sure how similar that feel is, because I never felt like I was like fully in the Star Wars universe. Like there were little pieces that did, but not like a fully immersed experience.
Yeah, so Galaxy's Edge is honestly, it's Disney's kind of big response to the success of all the Harry Potter lands that Universal's built. I would say, like, from an objective standpoint, like removing like any attachment to the franchises and stuff, because obviously if you're a big Harry Potter fan, you're going to prefer that one. I would say Galaxy's Edge is a more holistic experience in terms of like feeling entirely surrounded. Particularly, Universal has 3 Harry Potter lands, one of which just opened, so I have not been to that yet. But the very first one, so the Hogsmeade Village and Hogwarts Castle, you can still see like outside of the land. So like there's little things that remind you you're in a theme park. The Diagon Alley is much more enclosed, but Galaxy's Edge, you really, with a few minor exceptions, you can't see anything outside of it. Like it really makes you feel like you're in a totally different place.
And as someone who didn't know what to look for as far as those minor exceptions, I didn't notice it at all.
Yeah.
Were there like, screws that had a Phillips head screw or something that really just dragged you completely out of it?
I don't think Disney would ever do that. How dare you?
I honestly can't say I've ever seen a Phillips head screw anywhere, but that's not to say that it's not. I wouldn't swear my life on it, but they went above and beyond with the detailing for Galaxy's Edge.
That's cool. That's cool. I'm looking forward to hearing more about it. But I know you guys also did other stuff while you were there. So before we dive into the Galaxy's Edge stuff, you did some other kind of Star Wars related stuff, right?
Yeah, for sure. So before we got to the park, we actually went to, this is on the day before, we went to Disney Springs. That's just essentially the shopping district around Disney World. And so they have something called Star Wars Galactic Outpost. And just because we love to spend money, it's just another place where we can sell merchandise. It's all merchandise that you could buy in the parks for the most part, or I think pretty much all of it is
98%. Yeah.
And so they let you look at some of the lightsabers there, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, just from our experience in the park looking at lightsabers. There's action figures, there's holocrons, there's kyber crystals, there's children's play sets, Disney pens, all sorts of stuff. We spent a long time looking around there. We did pick up, for those of you watching the video, a beautiful Shaak Ti Black Series action figure. I believe this is the first time that Shaak Ti has been made for the Black Series, and she is absolutely stunning, very detailed. If you are a Shaak Ti fan, please go ahead and pick this up because it's awesome. I love it. So it hangs up there with my Shaak Ti figures behind me. And just the theming in general is on point. There's also an excellent Marvel store right nearby that also does a similar on point theming. So both stores really, it's not that it makes you feel like you're immersed in Star Wars, because it doesn't, but it definitely has Star Warsy feel. It doesn't feel overly, it's funny. It's very merchandised, but it doesn't feel overly merchandised. Like it feels like a cool boutique store, rather than like this big mega store. So I love to go there every time we go.
Yeah, I would say for people that, like, if you find yourself in Orlando but you aren't going to the theme parks, but you want to get a little taste of Star Wars, like this is definitely the place to go do that. Yeah, I don't want to oversell the experience. Like, I would say it's roughly the size of like a smaller store in a mall. So like it's I'm not good with square footage or anything, but I would say a store like tightly held, probably 30-ish people at a time.
Okay.
But it's a good place to buy merchant, like all your like regular Star Wars branded merchandise, and then some Galaxy's Edge exclusive things as well.
And it is free as well. Disney
that's what I was going to
go to.
Yeah.
You don't need a park ticket. Anyone who's in Orlando can drive right on up. There's awesome restaurants, so absolutely recommend. Awesome fun stores. So if you want some Disney merch, of course, we've got the Disney price tag on it, but that's part of being in the Disney bubble, and it's fun, and we happily pay for it, just because that's what we do.
But I mean, it's even free to park. You can go there and spend $0 if you want to. And you'll find Star Wars in like a couple of other stores as well. Like there's like the big World of Disney store, which is like the giant like Walmart sized Disney merchandise store there. So there'll be like some Star Wars things peppered throughout there. So like the art stores will have Star Wars art, the pen store will have Star Wars pens, but this is like the main place for it.
Okay. Well, that's nice that I wasn't sure if that was, outside of the park. So you don't have to pay for a ticket or something like that. That's really nice that, like, even if you're just like passing through and you're a Star Wars fan, like that gives you an opportunity to kind of get a taste of some of what the park merchandise offers and stuff like that. So that's really neat. Yeah. Outside of Galaxy's Edge, there were a couple other things or something else that you guys did, right?
Yeah, so like if you've never been to Disney World, have zero frame of reference, the way Disney World works is there's 4 theme parks. All of the Star Wars theme park stuff is at Disney's Hollywood Studios, which is a theme park that's kind of like themed around like old Hollywood and movies. And at that park, there's kind of 2 large, 3 Star Wars areas. One is a like kind of rinky-dink thing called
Launch Bay.
Launch Bay, yeah. And it was kind of like their placeholder for when they were
Hmm.
building Galaxy's Edge. And really the only function it serves now, there's a few little movie props in there, nothing to write home about, but you can meet a couple characters there. So you can meet, currently it's Darth Vader, Chewbacca, and BB-8. We did not do that on this trip. And then the other larger one that's outside of Galaxy's Edge is the Star Tours ride. And we plan to do a full video about history of Star Tours and anything soon, so I'm not going to dwell too much on that. But it's a ride that was originally built in the late 80s. You can find it in both in Disneyland in California, Orlando, Disney Hollywood Studios, and then also in Disneyland Paris and Tokyo Disney as well. And it's stayed in its original form from the 90s through the early aughts, and they closed it and refurbished it to its current form in 2012. Um, and now it's a really fun. It's a 3D simulator ride, but it's has a randomized experience. So what's neat
Oh.
about that is every time you ride it, you're gonna get a different experience. So we rode it twice. Actually, it was the first thing we did on the way in, and the last thing we did on the way out. And so the first time we rode it was there's 4 segments of the ride that randomize. So the premise of the experience is that R2D2 and C3PO were like piloting this ship. You're trying to protect a rebel spy. So you're trying to get away from the bad guys that are after you. And so the first thing that happens is a bad guy attacks you. So on our first ride, we had Darth Vader try to stop us from leaving. And then our second ride, it was a probe droid. And then so you get off the ship and you get away. You go to you hyperspace to a planet. And so our first one, we got Tatooine. So that puts you in the middle of a pod race. So that's really fun. And then the second one was Hoth. So you kind of got thrown into the Battle of Hoth. So getting away from like the AT-ATs and the you can see the Tauntauns and all that stuff. After that, you have some hero appears to you in a hologram asking you for help. So we got Princess Leia, which that was fun for me. I'd never gotten Leia before. She essentially like redoes the "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi," but she says, "Help me,
Okay.
Star Tours. You're my only hope." And then on the second one, we got one of the new characters that they just added actually this year. We got Mandalorian Grogu
Oh, cool.
talking to us. And then for our final planet, you go to like your final big battle. So our first one, we got Coruscant. And then our second ride, we got Peridia. And you got to you were like flying around the Purgles and everything. So we were helping Ahsoka. But yeah, it's really cool. I'm not going to go back too deep into it, but there's like literally hundreds of combinations
Wow.
of things you can get. So it's a really fun experience. And it's a nice little appetizer as you make your way to Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, I've heard of Star Tours, but didn't realize that it was like that randomized experience that each time you go on it, it's something different. You're going to get a different combination of people. And I also find that it's really interesting that predates the Disney acquisition of Star Wars, right? That it goes back so far. And that's really interesting as well. I know some of the droid that leads it, right, has been brought into canon and has appeared in other stuff. So like it's become almost more integrated into current Star Wars canon, which is really neat.
Yeah, Star Tours is very beloved by a lot of Star Wars creators, and you'll find it peppered throughout lots of things. I know Rebels, I think it's like it's the first episode after like the initial arc, where they get on the Star Tours ship, and like you have a Star Tour pilot and everything on there. And I know there were several fun Easter eggs in Skeleton Crew as well.
Okay. Yeah. Very cool. And then was that all you guys did outside of the Galaxy's Edge? Was there anything else that you did inside or outside? Rather?
I guess it's worth mentioning there's a large Star Wars store outside of Star Tours. And this is actually really important. So in Galaxy's Edge, all of the merchandise is like in-universe merchandise. So you're not going to get a t-shirt that says Star Wars on it there. So like, don't go looking for that there. So this is the biggest store in the park that sells Star Wars merchandise. So if you want your typical action figure or plush toy or whatever, this is where you can do it. They also have I would say, like, if you have a little kid, they have a fun lightsaber building experience here. There's
Okay.
one in Galaxy's Edge that's more for like a high-end collectible. This is like a $40 like lightsaber you're gonna like beat your brother with.
That's true.
Shit
Yeah.
like that.
Something fun to give the kid before you graduate them on up to the real one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
No,
called,
so
it's
I
called
don't.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna say I don't think that the word Star Wars ever appears in Galaxy's Edge. Does it appear at all?
I think it might be slightly. I think I saw something that had it on there when we were there,
Yeah.
but when they first opened Galaxy's Edge, they were very adamant about that. They're still pretty strong about it, but I wouldn't say it's like 100% certainty. You're not going to see anything with it in the land.
Because it's meant to be like an all in universe experience, right? Like you are in the Star Wars
You
universe.
are in Star, and
Yeah.
you're living a day in Star Wars canon, which is really
Okay. Okay.
So I guess it's a good transition
Yeah.
into Galaxy's Edge. Yeah. So when you leave Star Tours, if you take a left and keep walking, you'll end up in Galaxy's Edge. And
After you pass the Muppet Graveyard.
R.I.P. the Muppets. I just closed.
Okay.
The Muppet ride closed like last month. We missed it by like a week, and I was very upset about it. But I digress. You make it into Galaxy's Edge, and this is not, again, we're going to do some deeper dive in Galaxy's Edge later, but just to catch up to speed, Galaxy's Edge is set between Episode 8 and Episode 9 of the Star Wars movies. So the premise of Galaxy's Edge is that you are on the planet of Batuu in the city of Blackspire Outpost. It's at the like the far ends of the Outer Rim before you enter wild space, and so it's a place where a lot of people go to kind of get away from, like, it's not traditionally been impacted by the battle of like the Empire and everything, and because of that, Leia sent a Resistance spy, Vi Moradi, to Galaxy's Edge, to Batuu, to set up a Resistance base. And she got there and she established her base and everything and was befriending the locals and whatnot. But the First Order found out, and now the First Order is here. If you read the book Black Spire, if you're watching us, you can see it behind Austin right now.
Yep. Excellent
Novel, by the way. But if you read the book, it's kind of the prelude to the day that you experience on Galaxy's Edge. And so Vi and her friends kind of like handle the first batch of the First Order that's there. But a couple months after the novel takes place, Kylo Ren and crew come to Galaxy's Edge. So like Rey and friends were on Batuu, and Kylo finds out, and the day you're there is the day Kylo has arrived. So like that's like every day that story kind of resets.
So he arrives as you arrive.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when the park originally launched, they actually had a little battle between Rey and Kylo. Is that right, Austin?
Yeah. There's like opening ceremonies. Like this wasn't a thing that like experienced, but
which is a shame.
Yeah. So when you walk into Galaxy's Edge, you are in the Resistance camp. So that's kind of like the vibe. So it's like more wildernessy. And that's where the primary ride Rise of Resistance is, which we'll come back to. And then you enter the marketplace after that. And that's kind of where we get going that's kind of where we headed first when we got there.
Okay. Yeah. And so you guys have both been there before. So did you do kind of some of the same stuff? Is there stuff that you always have to do? And then there's stuff that was new, or was most of this familiar to you? Had you done all of the same stuff and it was kind of second experience, see it again?
Well, Austin has a place he always likes to head first.
I've got a place I always like to head. Everything we did was mostly, it was all, there was nothing new from January. So it was
that's
all
not true.
What was new?
We did Droid Depot for the first time.
Oh, I'm sorry. We did do Droid Depot.
So a little bit new, a little bit of the same.
But first, did we head to Doc Ondars first?
You think so?
Okay. Regardless, so we went to Doc Ondars, and so for those who are not in the know, Doc Ondar in canon is a temperamental Ithorian owner of this shop of antiquities. It's Doc Ondar's, what is it? Something
Den of Antiquities.
Den of Antiquities. And so he's temperamental, but he's very well respected in Blackspire Outpost. You don't want to end up on his dock list. Because, the people he doesn't like, he puts on his list, and good things are not coming to you. He trades mysterious artifacts like kyber crystals, holocrons, and character lightsabers. So here we're looking mostly at character lightsabers. So of course I always had to make a stop to go pick up my character lightsaber. One of the really cool things about this shop, it's very mystical feeling. There's all these artifacts around you, some of which are for sale. That's like your kyber crystals. They come in little canisters that look like this. If you're watching. And when you open it up, a kyber crystal is inside that you can put inside your build your own lightsabers, but you can also put the kyber crystals inside the holocrons that they sell. But my big reason for coming here is because I wanted to pick up a new legacy lightsaber. So those are the character lightsabers. And this one that just kind of came out is Master Soul's lightsaber. If you're watching the podcast, you'll be able to see it. Very detailed. I did a breakdown on this. It will appear on TikTok at some point. But I'm kind of on a journey to collect all these character lightsabers. So that was my primary motivation. They rotate through which lightsabers are available. So when we went, what was available was Stellan Gios from the High Republic, Ezra Bridger's second lightsaber, Kanan Jarrus, Ki-Adi-Mundi, which if you've read any of the Galaxy's Edge material, his lightsaber does feature in the comics. Ahsoka, both her Clone Wars and her show lightsabers, Darth Vader's, Anakin's Episode 2 lightsaber, Anakin's lightsaber from the Ahsoka show, Mace Windu, Cal Kestis, Luke Skywalker, the Darksaber, and Qui-Gon Jinn. So they have an enormous selection.
There's a lot. Yeah.
And that's maybe half, if that, of what's actually available. I think there's 32 to 35 lightsabers currently available. I think I'm sitting somewhere around 20 something. So we still got a little ways to go. I did only start collecting a year ago.
And so they bring new ones in. Will they retire certain ones as well?
Yes.
So they'll say like, hey, this is going away. So, kind of motivation of you want to get it at when you have the opportunity, because then next time you're there, it might not be there anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. Disney loves to make something exclusive to get you in the park.
Put it in a vault.
And so they in addition to this I bought this as just a standard edition because that's what's available. If something's available in a limited edition, they come in crates. It's these big wooden crates. So again, if you watch our TikToks, you'll see my review of one of those crates. But those are more especially limited edition. Those are numbered to only a few hundred of each saber, rather than the standard sabers, which are innumerable until they're just kind of done selling them. One of my big white whales right now is the Jedi Temple Guard lightsaber that I would love to get my hands on, but that has unfortunately been retired, as well as Ben Solo's lightsaber. Kylo Ren's is still available. I don't know if it's available at the parks, but it's definitely available at Shop Disney.
As I mentioned, sometimes they put lightsabers available online, but that is not typical. But you can't bank on that.
I have built my collection mostly from online until I started going to the parks. So online cycles through, and you just kind of have to cross your fingers that something you want's going to pop up on there, and you keep your eyes on it. So lightsabers are an enormous part of Galaxy's Edge. People love to bring their lightsabers around, especially at night. Everyone likes to light up their lightsabers, and people will sometimes clash them a little bit. I don't think the park cast members really say anything as long as you're being safe. You're good to go. We've taken several pictures of ourselves with our lightsabers on, and it's just fun. It doesn't even have to be a Disney saber. You can bring any lightsaber you have in.
Will the Kylo Ren character, like if you see them and you have a lightsaber, like will they like almost engage with you as if you're there and you're a Jedi, and it's like, oh, you're the enemy now. So you're becoming a character within this story that's unfolding the day you're there, right?
Exactly. And so that obviously they're not going to like scoot you out of the park. They're not going to be like, you're evil, we're going to kill you.
Arrest
but
you.
They're kind of like, what are you up to? You shouldn't have that kind of deal. And it's so immersive, especially for the kids. Like, I bet that is just the coolest thing ever. They do have characters walking around at Galaxy's Edge. You can find Rey there. You can find Vi Marati, who's a non-screen character yet so far, at least. Hopefully we'll see her on screen at some point. Because I love her so much. Kylo Ren stormtroopers are there. And then the cast members are, there's some that are playing rebel agents, and there's some that are just playing shopkeepers. And they'll all talk to you as if you're in universe. If you talk to them out of universe, they'll talk to you out of universe.
Okay.
But if you want to play along, they'll play along with you. I think when it first opened, they were a little more in universe than they're sitting right now.
Okay.
If you go to the Disneyland one, there's a lot more characters. You can see like Ahsoka, Hera, I think was there at one point.
So it's kind of like the classic Disney World. Like they have the princesses around that kids can interact with, and they're in universe and stuff like that. They're doing that same kind of thing.
It's actually a little different than that. So for the most part, particularly at Disney World, if you like want to go meet Mickey Mouse or Snow White or whatever, you like wait in a line and you like wait your turn to meet them. But in Galaxy, there's the characters don't really do that. So they're like walking around in universe, and they may choose to stop and interact with you. But they don't like Ray doesn't stop and pose for pictures with you. Really.
Okay.
So, like, for example, Austin and I had like a really phenomenal experience with Vi Marati. And, because she's like the original character, I don't think she gets many people trying to like interact with her. We talked with her for a good 5 minutes.
Which is a long time. That's a long time for us.
Right. Yeah. And
she made lots of time for her. She was awesome.
Yeah, she was phenomenal. But like we talked about the Resistance and what was going on in the Resistance and everything. And the characters were like well versed like in the books and things. Like if you mentioned like the characters in the like the Black Spire novel, like she would know who you were talking about.
Okay.
That's like part of the research and everything they have to do. The characters of the mask, so like Kylo and stormtroopers, they have like pre-programmed responses that they can get. It's a very wide range, but you can't have like a fully off the cuff comment with like Kylo. Like you couldn't say like
that little hand stuff they do to make the noise.
They do stuff with their hands that like is what triggers it. But they
so it's
still
like recorded material that then they can activate. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
It sounds consistent.
Right.
Yeah. Like there was one video I saw to give you the idea of like the breadth of like what they can do. There's a video I saw of like Kylo was talking to not Kylo, it was a stormtrooper that was like interrogating a kid that had like an R2D2 shirt or something like that, and like a teenage boy with a lightsaber was like, "This is not the droid you're looking for." He said that to the stormtrooper, and his stormtrooper turned to him and said, "And you're not the Jedi we're looking for."
I like that. That's good.
So they have like a broad like range of things they can do.
Okay, cool.
So it's limited, but like they're going to be able to ad lib whatever they need to do.
Yeah.
So there's really characters like throughout the land. So you have the like walk around characters. So you've got they do I would say 90% they keep it strict to the timeline. So you can see at any given time Rey, Chewbacca, and Vi Marati with the Resistance, and then you've also got Kylo Ren with Stormtroopers walking around for the First Order. Vi Marati, if you're not familiar, is she's kind of the original character made for the land. And then you also have it in the shops and stuff, like characters there. So in Dok-Ondar, they have a large animatronic of the Ithorian for Dok-Ondar. And you can like see him like doing his like bookkeeping and stuff. It's really kind of breathtaking. Like you're very close to him.
And I think the characters the cast members will talk to him as well, won't they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, he was broken both times I went.
Oh,
he wasn't broken. He was in the back.
I'm sorry. He was in the back.
Yeah. He was working on the stocks.
I don't know. Yeah. After reading A Crash of Fate, I'm worried that something awful happened to him.
He's a big character in the book. That's why I have it here. I read it a few months ago. In between, I think the first time you guys went and that time to learn a little bit more about like the in-universe stuff with Dok-Ondar and stuff that's going on. And I love that intersection of these characters. Is Vi the only probably book character that, or rather she was created for that, but then is featured in stories? Have any of the other characters from the Crash of Fate or these other stories also there, or is she really the only one?
She's really the only one. If you mentioned, for example, like Archax is like the other big character from the book, like she would know who you're talking about.
Okay.
And so like she would be familiar with that.
But like
and
Jules
then like
and Izzy is a little bit outside
those
of
aren't.
that. Okay.
Yeah, those
For your really deep canon nerds,
those are very,
scale it back a little bit.
yeah.
If we were making it for nerds, absolutely they'd be there.
Jules would
they
be looking
definitely did.
at Doc Ondars every day.
But all of the stores have a backstory about like
Okay.
who runs them and everything. So for example, the toy store is called the Toydarian Toy Maker. I can't remember her name, but there's like a window that you can see into the back, and you can see like a Toydarian kind of like fluttering around back there. And you can see, because she's a Toydarian, they have like things up high because she can fly around. If you're not familiar with Toydarians, what Watto is, and you can see the nest that she sleeps in is like up there.
Oh, that's
and stuff
interesting.
like that. Yeah,
I've never thought of a Toydarian as sleeping in a nest.
Yeah,
it's a bird, Mike.
Think of it as a lizard, flying lizard creature. Yeah, I thought of it as more as a reptile than a bird.
And then you have like the clothing store is run by like a Twi'lek, and so like she has like all the fashion things, and there's a wood carver. And this is actually like a fake store. You can't even buy this up, but you can see it.
Oh,
there's like a Wookiee wood carver. And you can like walk past the store. He's like doing all his like Wookiee like carving.
Which is a shame. I would love to buy some Wookiee wood carvers.
Yeah,
that'd be
buy
awesome.
some like Wookiee cutting boards or something. Something that's whittled.
I would have already bought it.
Yeah. I'm not surprised you would have.
We would own those things if it was there.
And the big one, which we didn't do this time, but we did on our last trip, kind of like the core of the character stuff, is Oga's Cantina, which is like the big bar. You definitely want to make a reservation for that if you can. But Oga is she's like the crime lord of Galaxy's Edge. She's a Blutopian, which if you don't remember, Blutopians are kind of like the little squiddy guys that like Jyn Erso shared a cell with in Rogue One. But Oga is like the crime boss, so like everybody owes Oga. And so like all the stores like pay their like fees to Oga and everything. She takes care of everybody. And so I do want
to do a little plug for Oga's Cantina. Even if you don't drink, you should still go because they have plenty of mocktails and some fun appetizers. So you need
but it's like you don't see Oga in the store, but they reference it. Like I was one time I went and the guy was like, Oga's had me working for 86 hours and I haven't left yet.
Oh my gosh.
And so like they do stuff like the characters are, the people that work there familiar.
Even like all the servers are characters in the universe, right? That's really neat.
I think sometimes, and this is a little off the cuff, people talk about how expensive Disney is, and they don't think it is expensive. I think it'd be wrong to say it's not, but the experience that they provide just like that is so above and beyond what you would expect at any other theme park. It's if that's interesting to you, that's worth the price. They definitely give you what you pay for.
Okay.
It's just expensive. But we tried some other things, didn't we?
Yeah. So for the first time, this was an experience that was their opening day, but for the first time for me, I got to do the droid building experience at this Droid Depot. So there's two kind of major merchandise like experiences you can have in Galaxy's Edge. One is the lightsaber building and one is the droid building. Austin and I did the lightsaber building back in the spring, but this trip we did droid building, and it was so much fun. So you go into the Droid Depot, that's the name of the store. In universe, there is a Yutai, so that's the little guys from Utapau, from Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
His name is Nubo, and he's a droid builder. And so all the droids in the land, he's like in universe, he was like the guy that built all of them and repurposed them. And this is the store where you can come in and build your own droid. So they have one half of the store that's just a merchandise shop where you can buy pre-built droids and like a lot of like droid themed merchandise. So like you can buy, they pretty much always have R2D2, BB-8, Chopper, and then they usually cycle through some other ones. So like right now they have BD-1 from the Jedi games. But you can buy like little toys, or you can buy little figures and stuff. Yeah, I have a little Chopper that I bought from there. and they have like, if you wanted to get like an R2D2 t-shirt or something, this would be the place to do that.
Okay.
The other half of the store is the place where the droid building experience takes place. Unlike the lightsaber building experience, which is like very exclusive and secretive and mystical, this is like a very public thing. So like even if you don't like reserve a spot to like go and do this, you can go and watch people do it. Or you can see the conveyor belt and things. So now when it first opened, the demand was really high where you like, had to have an appointment that you booked like 60 days out and everything. Now it's like at a point where you still can book the time, but you can pretty much walk up and do it. Like we walked up, and I think from when we walked up to when I had my droid like completed was like maybe 25 minutes.
Wow.
Like it was not like not a very lengthy experience. And we took our time. We were not rushed at all.
Took a lot of video.
But you walk in, you walk in and you select what kind of droid you want to build. So there's currently 4 options. So you can build an R series, so like R2D2, and then the B series, so BB-8. And those were the 2 that were there when they opened. Since then, they've added C series, which is Chopper. And then just recently, I think it was this year, they added the A series, which is an ALT utility droid, which I was not super familiar with. They look very similar to R2D2, but they have like large triangle legs. Is like the way I would describe it.
Okay. I actually don't know that one. Yeah. That's a new one for me.
Yeah, they first appeared in Rogue One. And I think like the most prominent appearance of them is in Solo. They're like the serving droids on Dryden's yacht.
Okay.
So like, they're like missing their heads and have like serving tray on top of them.
Galaxy's Edge loves a deep cut.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so you decide what you're going to build, like, and you pay, and they're all the same price. When you walk up to buy, you can either buy just the droid or you can buy the bundle. The bundle comes with a carrying case, which is like a backpack that has like a hole so you can see your droid inside of it. And then you get a personality chip. And so your droid will have a personality and everything, regardless if you buy the chip or not. But the chips provide give you like your droid like an allegiance. So there are 4 resistance chips, there's 2 first order chips, and then there's 3 scoundrel chips.
Okay. And is that random, or do you select the specific one? You choose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Select it, yeah. And so for the resistance chips, there's a blue one which makes your droid have the personality of R2D2, an orange one that makes it BB-8, a yellow one that makes it Chopper, and then a red that makes it CB-23.
And if you get the yellow one, you're going to be committing some genocide or something.
Genocide, yeah. So this is my droid here. If you're watching,
so
I'm
cute.
Demonstrating it. Yeah. So I recreated CB-23 from the Resistance TV show. She's my favorite droid. For a time, you could actually build. You could buy her. You could, like the same way that you could buy R2 and stuff. She was actually the first one that they added after the original set. But she was I don't know if they called her limited edition, but they made like a number of her, and then they didn't build anymore. But after she sold out, they added her parts to the droid building experience.
You can then do it yourself. Yeah.
You can build it yourself, yeah. And so you could actually for R2D2, BB-8, and Chopper, you can recreate them through the droid building experience. If you plan to do that, I would just buy the pre-built ones because it's a little cheaper, unless the building experience is like really important to you, which it is really fun. But they have lots of options that aren't just the characters. So you can make purple ones and black ones and orange,
clear ones.
You'd have clear ones. Yeah, so there's clear ones that are cool, so you can like see the insides of it and everything. But so you tell them what you're going to buy, and you pay for it first, and then you get your. They give you like basically it looks like a basket that you would get at like a grocery store. And on the bottom of it, it tells you all the parts you need.
Oh, okay.
And you go to these large conveyor belts that just have like hundreds of droid parts on them going through, and you pick and choose the pieces you want. And so there will be, there's probably endless combinations of stuff you can do, but you go through and you pick all your pieces. So you're going to be getting like your outer shell, your like core, so like between the engine of the droid, like the head piece, the arms and legs. I think Chopper has like the most, like the C series has like the most pieces. So you have the little arms and things like that. You get all your pieces and then you go to your station, and the droid builders help you. We had a lovely helper named Tempest that was amazing at walking us through the process. So they take you step by step of all the things you have to do. And I would say the building process was maybe 10 minutes long.
Okay.
And so you have to use some power tools. You have to use a power drill to get it going. Yeah. It's a pretty elaborate experience, but if you buy a personality chip, which they sell personality chips, I'll get back in a second. If you didn't buy it in the bundle, you can buy a personality chip on its own, and they have more available. But you put that in during this, and then they activate your droid, and they pair it with a remote control that looks like this. If you're not watching, it's like a small, like cell phone sized little control buttons on it that you can make your droid move around and make noises with. But the fun thing with the personality chip, once you're out into the land, and your droid will interact with the land. So if you have a resistance aligned droid, it's going to make like happy sounds, but it's in the resistance area. And if there's like stormtroopers walking by, it might make like fear sounds.
Wow.
Versus if you get the like the first order like chips, they're going to be like happier when they hear the stormtroopers coming by, or when you're in the first order area by Kylo's ship, they're going to react more positively to that. And so they have several places throughout the land where you can play with your droids. They don't want you just rolling them around wherever you want. But there's places set aside that you can play with the droids.
It's like a dog park. Basically.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. And the droids will they'll interact with other people's droids, and they'll beep at each other, all that stuff.
So if you had two, then your two droids would potentially interact with each other if you had them all.
Only in the land though.
Oh, only
they will
in
not
the
do
land.
that at home.
Okay.
Yeah, they won't do that at home. Yeah.
Okay.
So
they can still make noise at home. They can still make noise.
Yeah.
It still works at home and everything.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But it's really fun. So it gives you incentive to bring it back.
Right.
And play with it there. There's also, after you complete building it, there's lots of other things you can buy to outfit your droid. So for example, you can buy this wouldn't work for the BB units, but for any of the other ones, you can buy the serving tray that R2 had at Jabba's palace. So you can buy that to sit on top of him. There's a drum set thing that you can buy for them. And it comes with a drummer personality chip. So when you buy the personality, you can swap them out. So if I wanted to go buy a scoundrel for a personality chip and put it in my droid, I could. And it would change what they do.
Most of the accessories are typically, it seems, for the R series or the C series. It does not seem like there's a lot of accessories for the B series. I think that'd be very, very difficult considering the way that she moves.
Yeah, and that was gonna be a piece of advice I gave to people. If you're really committed to playing with the droid, I would not recommend getting the B series because it's a lot harder to control. It's honestly amazing they're able to make something roll around like that and keep the head upright and everything. Just in general, I think it's pretty amazing, and keeping it at a relatively affordable price, at a price that's not so high that people wouldn't pay for it. But if you're buying it as a toy, I would probably recommend getting the R, the C, or the A series. I don't regret it at all because I love CB23 and I love having it, and it's so much fun having her around because it's just it's like a little pet that I have.
Yeah.
But the other thing to note is they go to sleep if you haven't played with them for 15 minutes. In the land, they'll stay awake, but when you sleep, they go to sleep to preserve the battery. With all the other ones, the non-B series, it's very easy to turn it back on. With the B series, I basically have to disassemble it to turn it on.
Okay.
Yeah, what you mean, reassembling it takes a minute and a half. It's not a very lengthy process. It's pretty easy, but that is just another thing to consider.
Like the switch is in a hidden spot
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah,
a round
it's on the
thing.
engine. It's on the engine, so you have to like
Yeah.
take the head off, unscrew it, and then like turn it on and rescrew it. to put it
Okay.
back on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a super fun experience. I would say like it's a less like special experience than the lightsaber one.
Mhm.
But it's also like a lot cheaper too.
Okay. Yeah.
So and I would say if you have kid, like if you're wanting to do it for a kid, this is more of a worthwhile experience for a child.
Yeah. That makes sense. That,
Yeah.
they're kind of walked through it. It's not that, complex, or I mean, there are a
Exactly.
lot of pieces, but it's they really guide you along the way.
Yeah.
I don't
the
know if I would.
lightsabers are okay.
I was gonna say I don't know if I would take a child under 12 to go build a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That would just.
Because
It's
also
not
it's like a
a
display
toy.
piece.
Yeah.
It's a display piece.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
and
a
this is a
heavy
toy.
metal.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we've got the lightsaber right here, so it's a big old heavy.
Yeah.
Thing.
You bash someone
Yeah.
with that, it's going to be real painful. And
Yeah.
little kids sometimes do things without realizing it's going to hurt someone.
Yes,
Yeah.
they sure do.
Yeah.
So probably the little pretend $40 one that you can get over by Star Tours is the way to go for the kiddos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then you guys also did some rides, right? Is that right?
We sure did. So there are two major rides right now at Galaxy's Edge. One is Smuggler's Run, which we did not ride this time. We rode it last time. But the kind of big showpiece ride there is Rise of the Resistance. This ride has received absolutely critical acclaim. It's an incredible feat of engineering. I hate to say that one of my favorite parts of the entire ride is the ride queue. The pre-show for this ride is so immersive and interactive. It feels like the ride starts before you're really even on the ride, which makes it easier to get through the line. Having said that, every time that we've ridden this ride, we either had a lightning lane pass to ride it quickly, or we got there right at the crack of dawn when the park opened and ran to the ride to make sure we were one of the first ones in line. So the line can get a little lengthy on this one. But from as far as my experience in the ride, the line was not too bad, and the pre-show was absolutely everything. I'm going to avoid saying too much just because, Mike, I'm really excited for you to do it with us. It's truly an amazing pre-show. The ride is a trackless ride system. Essentially, the story is that you get captured by the First Order and you need to escape the First Order ship. So you get in these little teensy like ship.
They're prison. They
Pods
call it
or
prison transport.
Transfer
Yeah.
things.
But it's just the ride vehicle. Yeah.
It's just the ride vehicle, and you're kind of gliding through it's gliding, like it's very smooth because you're on nothing. You're just on the floor and it's just gliding along due to like the trackless system. I'm not quite sure how it works. Austin,
It's controlled by
magnets?
like motion sensors in the room. Yeah.
Okay.
Underneath it, and so it moves it along. It doesn't jerk at all, and you're basically fleeing the First Order from your prison cell. And lots of incredible animatronics. The Kylo Ren animatronic is stunning. I love to say that word, I guess. I've realized that in this podcast. Kylo Ren animatronic is amazing, and you see him a couple of times. And he does different things with you. And then you finally, at the end of the ride, of course, escape on an escape pod. And perhaps one of my favorite parts of the ride, actually. Just because I like the thrill parts of the rides. This ride I would consider second only to the Guardians of the Galaxy ride at Disney World. So it's an incredible ride. And that's a high bar. Guardians of the Galaxy is good. So this one is really good as well. Highly recommend. If you are never going to make it to the parks, not everyone is able to make it, unfortunately. They do have a ride through on Disney Plus that includes the pre-show. Which I recommend you watch if you're not planning on going. If you are planning on going at some point, I would maybe skip that until after you've gone your first time, just because there's a lot of surprises on the ride that are maybe best saved to experience live rather than on a screen.
It feels like a very Disney thing to have like your line waiting be interactive and stuff like that. It's like the whole experience. Again, you're in universe, so these characters are there and things are going on. So that's kind of a cool aspect, because that's personally, not being a big theme park person, waiting in lines is the bane of my existence. I hate it. It's so annoying. And that makes me be like, oh, okay, I think I could get into that.
We'll lightning lane your way through the park.
Okay.
Don't worry about that. But the ride queues at Disney, even the least interactive ones, are still a little bit like interesting. Like it's not like if you go to a Six Flags or something where you're just sitting in a hot sun-baked paved rope lined line. It's very thematic.
Okay.
And some of them are more thematic than others, of course. But all the big rides have extremely entertaining ride lines.
Because they know you spend more time in line than you do on the ride.
Right.
So
yeah.
they, with all the big rides they've built over the past decade, they work to make the lines as enjoyable as possible.
It's all integrated together as one whole experience. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It is. It's cool. I mean, not having really been, because I went as a kid, but not having been before January, I don't think I appreciated just how cool Disney World was. It's cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So if you have the opportunity to go, people absolutely should. But other than rides, we also had some tasty snacks. So the first food place that we went to was called Ronto Roasters. And the backstory here is actually really cool. It's owned by this man named Bakar, who's a pod racing fanatic. He's a human.
Oh.
And you actually, unlike Doc Ondar, who you can see in his shop, you don't see Bakar inside his restaurant. But he's a pod racing fanatic. In fact, the way that he grills the meats is with a big pod racing engine right in the center of the restaurant. And it turns on every so often and makes noises, and it has a droid operating it. And I think if I'm not mistaken, it's the same type of droid from Jabba's palace. Am I misremembering?
It is, yeah.
Is it the same droid itself, or just the same type of droid?
Same type of droid, yeah.
Like the EV droid, the one that's in charge, or
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
It sure is. And so that's really cool.
Hear him. I was like, you hear him like complaining about roasting the meats. He's like churning them. He's like complaining about.
Yeah.
And so the big thing there, you can get a couple of things there, but the big thing to get there is the Ronto wraps. Basically, what that is, it's pita, coleslaw, big sausage, and then pork on the sides. They also have a breakfast version with egg. And then they also have a vegetarian version as well. So for people who don't eat meat, there's options for them as well. And I'm sure it's all just as delicious. I think it all has the peppercorn sauce on it, which I thought was phenomenal.
Shout out to all the vegetarians out there.
Shout out. There you go.
That's actually, as an aside, it's actually like another thing Disney does very well. Is pretty much any place that you're going to buy food, they have a vegan option.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure they probably have like gluten-free too. Like they have so many people there, right? That they make sure that there's options for anyone with any, allergies or whatever. Right? Yeah. Cool.
It's in fact, it's kind of funny that Disney World, I've heard from Austin, does it a little better than Disneyland, which is kind of funny that Florida would do that better than California, but it does. But so that's amazing. 10 out of 10. I think it was one of the best things I ate when I went to Disney. And then the other place that we went to specifically is the milk stand. That one doesn't have a backstory really. They just sell blue and green milk. Think of it kind of like the butterbeer at Harry Potter. So they want to give you a drink treat from inside the world. Having had them, they're kind of like it's not like an icy, but it's kind of like an icier milk.
It's a rice milk, so it's not. It's vegan.
It's vegan. Okay.
You can get blue and green. You can get it or swirl, and then you can also get it with booze. So the green comes with tequila, and the blue comes with rum. The blue is berry melon, is how they describe it, and then the green is citrus, so like lemon, lime, orange. Flavor.
I had the green when I went, but I did try the blue. I thought they were both delicious. I think I preferred the blue.
Yeah, I prefer the green. So
mileage may vary.
Mileage may vary. I think it's completely up to whatever your own tastes are.
Yeah.
But it's delicious. Recommend. It is refreshing. You may think, oh, this is gonna be disgusting in a hot theme park. It's refreshing. They did a good job making it refreshing. So it was cool. Had a lot of fun with the food.
How so this time you guys, I think you said you just spent a couple hours there, right? did that feel like enough? Did it feel like, because you've been before, you weren't doing everything? What would you say for like a first time goer, or like when I go for the first time, like how long should I plan on giving to going to Galaxy's Edge?
So I would say if you want to do everything, so if you want to eat at all the restaurants, you want to build a droid, build a lightsaber, ride both rides, and like just soak it all in and enjoy everything, I would say you probably need like 5 or 6 hours.
Okay.
Because like if you eat lunch, so we didn't even talk about like Docking Bay 7 is like the main food spot.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want to eat there, that's going to be 30 to 45 minutes of your day. Visits 45 minutes. 30 minutes or more to build a droid. 30 minutes or more to build a lightsaber. And then waiting for both rides, like that's around an hour or more each.
Yeah.
So that's going to add up. And also like most people, like they're doing this as part of like a broader theme park day, so they're gonna like go and come back. Like you're not necessarily be there locked in the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go and ride the Toy Story rides or Tower of Terror or whatever, and come back.
Mike, we will lock you in the whole time.
Yeah, I was like, once I'm there, I don't know if I'm leaving.
Leaving, yeah. And I highly recommend Galaxy's Edge at night, because they at Disney World, so Disneyland actually has like a nighttime show, a fireworks show and everything in their Galaxy's Edge. Disney World unfortunately doesn't have it, but there's not much happening in Galaxy's Edge at night, so there's not many people there, so you really can walk around and like kind of get like a deserted Galaxy's Edge,
and the lights
really
like beautiful.
Yeah, the lighting is really beautiful. You can kind of really like take in all the details. And that's also what I would recommend if you're going to buy like a collectible, like buy a lightsaber or whatever. Like I would buy that at the end of the day, so you're not lugging it around all day.
Yeah, makes
I
sense.
made that mistake and lugged around a big old Darth Vader crate in January almost the entire day. It was horrible.
we also did not know that he was coming down with the flu.
Did not know it.
But you were coming down with the flu.
Oh, at the same time, I was coming down with the flu.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank goodness that was our last day at Disney World.
Yeah. So don't go to Galaxy's Edge when you have the flu or any other.
Okay. For the record, I did not know I had it. I did not know I had it.
Yep.
I thought I was just tired after a week of stomping around Disney.
Yeah. Because when the first time you went, it was 4 or 5 days, right, to do all of the other
we were there
stuff
for a whole week
with the park. Yeah.
Just to give some context, when we were there this past time, on the day we did all the parks, or the 3 parks, we, I think, walked, 15,000 steps?
Wow. It was about 15 miles. Yeah.
15 miles, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah.
So start prepping if you're planning to go. Like
I recommend that you start walking and get... Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, yeah, I'm really excited to go eventually. I don't know. I don't know when. We've talked about if we go to Star Wars Celebration 2027, like we could maybe go to Disneyland Galaxy's Edge, which neither of you have been to, right?
No.
Yeah, I was actually. I've been to Disneyland once, and
I didn't know that
before Galaxy's Edge opened.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that would be a fun brand new experience for all three of us to go there together.
It would.
I wonder how many of our viewers have gone and what their favorite parts are. So let us know, like if you've gone and have recommendations for me specifically, or just anyone else, like please let us know, like leave a comment, let us know what your experience was, what your favorite part was. If you've built a droid, I'd love to see the picture of your droid compared to the CB that Austin made. Let us know. Is there anything else that you guys want to fill them in on, or anything before we sign off?
I just can't recommend it enough.
No, I want to leave some surprises for you. I hope we didn't spoil too much. There's so much to explore. We just barely scratched the surface. Highly recommend, if you are a big Star Wars fan and want to feel immersed in Star Wars, this is the trip to take.
Yeah, well, thanks everyone for listening. So our next episode, we are going to be talking about the importance of video games in Star Wars, something that now, after talking about what you guys did, something very close to my heart. And we're going to be talking about both the past and the present Star Wars games. So looking at the old school games before Disney canon, but also talking about ones that are happening right now. And if there's a topic that you want to discuss with us or you want us to talk about and bring some positivity into Star Wars, let us know. We're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on TikTok, and all of the other places that you typically can find social media and podcasts. So let us know what you'd be interested in having us talk about. But for now, that is going to be Rogue 3 signing off.
Thanks everyone for joining us to talk about the galaxy far, far away. You can find us on Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube, and TikTok as Rogue 3 Media. We look forward to talking with you at the next rendezvous point.